Why you and other CV players come with top planes parallel to the victim ship. After starting the drop, you turn 90 degrees to finally torp his side. I'm not sure what you mean with that. There's two ways to understand what I think you just said. You were saying, so if there's an enemy ship like this, what it sounds like you just said was that you're gonna bring your planes in like this, and then you're gonna start your attack run and hard turn and then come in and make the strike. Or, you know, maybe the ship's back here or something, because it's moving. If the ship is moving, say, in this direction. So you wouldn't actually start the attack here. You would come in, you would start the turn, and then you would start your attack here. Because if you hard turn in, it's going to screw the reticle. You don't come from his side, you come from his nose. And there are some carriers that can do that, and there are other carriers that cannot. So let's show this. All right, so this is the Midway. The Midway does not like turning its rocket or its torpedoes. So I'm gonna show this to you. What the hell is this for? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but curling torp planes is not normal. Curling torp planes exists on like the FDR. Yeah, so the FDR and British torpedoes can do that. Others cannot. Is really what I'm trying to say. The other torps, like Japanese torps, US torps, German torps to an extent, although they're a little more nimble. But if we're gonna strike maybe our own carrier or something, like if we start our attack and try to turn, you're gonna see this is gonna be fucking terrible-tastic. So if we come in here and we put this reticle over, this is where we firm up our angle. So let's see if we want to come in, try to do this sideways stuff. So we're gonna slam this and we're gonna hard turn, and we're hard turning, and we're hard turning, and we're hard turning, and we're hard turning. Okay, cool. And now we're gonna firm up and we're gonna drop. Yeah, that sucks. That's all kinds of just, that does not work. It's the same way with the Japanese, and it's kind of the same way with the German, although less punishing. However, with the British, whatever, just audacious is fine. With the British, it's going to be different. British actually allow you to turn while retaining the accuracy of the reticle for the most part, if not completely. And the FDR, even though it's a US carrier, feels like it's a British carrier. It feels like the way it drops the bombs are like their carpet bombs. It feels like the way the torps turn are like their British torps, because British torps can turn. The rockets fire in a giant cloud, which is what the British things do. So it's like they've designed a British carrier and then they just slapped a US name on it. I don't know why that is, but that's what they did. Some CVs can do this, but why do this? If it gives them the better attack, then you go with whatever gives you the best attack. So
autopilot mode enabled.
We'll do that. So our carrier will eventually start to move, right? So why would you use the maneuverability of torps to be able to hit? So we see this guy, we're coming on this dude, and he's starting to turn. All right, well, he's starting to turn kind of a lot, so we're gonna swing out this way, and then we're going to turn in to meet him in his turn. Versus, if we don't do that, then when he turns, if we just go in straight, okay, we see his broadside, cool, I'll go in here. We're gonna go in and he's gonna keep turning. So we kind of take the shot that we can take, and maybe he turns into it, in which case he probably takes 2, maybe 3. So it's a little bit of a lazy turn. Well, we got all 3 there. But if you have the ability to angle, you should use it. Or to catch people off guard, that can also be useful. If somebody doesn't realize that you're attacking them, then they might not try to dodge. They might sit unprepared. But really, ultimately, it's just about trying to figure out how to get the best hit. If you do the damage, then, you know, woot, the damage is done. Okay.
General quarters.
Okay, so we're gonna look at the Des Moines here. And just like with those Torps, the Torps are really maneuverable, right? Well, the rockets on the German planes are really maneuverable. So what happens if this Des Moines starts to turn in? He's like, no, don't rocket me, bro. No. If we put the reticle wide, then we can slide in and try to catch him in his turn to be able to come in and get a hit. So sometimes using the maneuverability that's there will allow you to perform some kind of counter maneuver. So if they're trying to do something, you can watch that counter maneuver and you can try to respond to it without having to constantly get the perfect broadside shot where they're not moving and they're just letting you shoot them. Does that make sense? So it's not about AA? No. It's about getting the hit. FDR seems to need more than 3.5 kilometers to firm up the Torp reticle. I mean, we could look at the FDR. So the FDR has an extreme amount of movement. So when you firm the reticle, you can just move it. As a result, you found coming in at an angle gives you the distance you need while inside the 3.5 kilometer flak zone. So we'll do the Torp thing for a little bit. Okay, so for the FDR, I have an increased drop timing for the Torps because they are so maneuverable to allow us to maneuver more aggressively with the turns and stuff. You can see that this distance is actually pretty long. But let's try and hit this Montana from the other side. See if we can do that. So we know that the planes are going to turn pretty aggressively, so maybe we'll start the attack when we're about here, just for the lulls. Maybe he's behind an island. And we'll start it here. So we're going to watch our timer. 14, 13, 12, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we make the drop. So we could swing around from behind an island and catch him if he's like hiding or something. Because you have such an ability to turn and maneuver, and the reticle firms fairly quickly. So is that something that's amazing? I mean, yeah, it's cool, I guess. It just depends on how you're going to use it. Is it going to help you make a drop that otherwise you couldn't drop? That kind of thing.